with Jared White every weekend on all WTIM platforms and on demand at CentralIllinoisOutdoors.com. Brought to you by Bob Ridings in Pana, the Clinton, Illinois Chamber of Commerce and Tourism Bureau, and Locked and Loaded in Pana.
Your information station, WTIM.
Welcome into the WTIM, your information station. My name is Tim Zalabak. This is the WTIM Morning Show. Sitting down with Dr. Chad Anderson today. He's the Public Health Administrator for the Christian County Health Department. We thank our live stream sponsors, People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville. You always do better at Landmark. Dr. Chad Anderson, how are you today?
Wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for being in with us. It's been a little bit since we first talked. I think the first time you came in, you had just taken the role as the Public Health Administrator. Tell me a little bit about how things have been.
So far, things are going a lot better. As I learned, some of the role of the administrator, we've taken on new programs, new grants, still looking for, ways to expand some of the programs that we already have, look for new ones. Just trying to get more that we can into Christian County.
Absolutely. Always serving the community as you do. So we do appreciate that. And it's good to have some new leadership over there. So this is really cool. So you talked about programs, talked about serving the community a little bit, because there's flu clinics popping up all over the place coming up in the next couple of weeks. I got all the dates in my mind. So do you. So talk to me a little bit about this.
Yes. As we're starting into the flu season, you can come to the health department at any time during our normal hours if you want a flu shot, but we know not everyone, can come during our regular hours. So we're doing a few different flu clinics around Christian County. So, first we have a few late night clinics. So I think on October 12th and October 26th, we'll be extending our hours from 4 to 6 for anyone who wants to come during that time. It is by appointment only, though, for those ones. And then on October 24th, we'll be having a drive-through clinic, which will be at the Taylorville Fire Department. So don't even have to get out of your car. We'll just, the nurses and staff will assist everyone to just do a drive-through on that day. And then on November 2nd, will be a drive-through at the Pana Fire Department. Same concept, just don't have to get out of your car, just stay in your car and just get it through.
I've never even heard of a drive-through shot clinic before. I'm sure these have happened before, but you can just sit in your car and get your shot.
Mm-hmm. So, we're working with our the MRC president, and so they're and with my emergency management coordinator. So kind of what it'll be is it'll be like a line, and it'll be set up to, different lanes, but you fill out the paperwork, and then you move to the second one where the nurse will give you the shot, and then you just kind of drive off.
Perfect. So no appointment required for these drive-through clinics. There is one happening Tuesday, October 24th from 7 a.m. to noon at the Taylorville Firehouse. And another drive-through clinic is Thursday, November 2nd from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Pana Firehouse. Really cool development here, a partnership with Firehouse. Anything there to talk about?
I'm just grateful that they're letting us use their venues. From my understanding, it's been a regular thing talking to the MRC president. This has been, I don't know how long it's been going on, but it's been kind of a normal occurrence the last few years. So, thanks to the fire departments for their continued, collaboration with us to make it happen. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to get to some different outreach places or different times, different venues, things like that than we normally would at just our health department.
Sure. Yeah, that these locations specifically also do say, emergency and, clinical, I guess. These are places you don't want to do this at an Applebee's. You know what I'm saying? this is for
Yes.
some sort of first responders. You say you work closely with the emergency management agency, and we speak with ours. What kind of communication do you guys do
With the
emergency management and MRC? You said MRC. What is the MRC?
So the MRC is the Medical Reserve Corps.
Okay.
So that's something that's specific to health departments. So it's like volunteers who are nurses or doctors or people who have some kind of medical background, or someone who just wants to be a volunteer at the health department. So we are actually looking to expand our MRC. So I think, if I remember, there is a link on our website if someone wants to join the MRC.
Very cool. All right, sounds good. Do you want to name off this website? Can you go to the same website for information on this?
It's on our Christian County website, which is cchdil.org. So
perfect.
or there's pamphlets all over the health department. You can also stop by there.
Yeah, I'd like to go back because there is 2 clinics being held at the health department here in Christian County. They're by appointment only. Those are coming to us on October 12th from 4 to 6 p.m. and October 26th from 4 to 6 p.m. Those are by appointment only. It's good to keep the doors open a little bit longer because I'm sure you guys are busy all day over there, and you're open also for flu shots, also by appointment all day.
Yeah, but also if the ones that are at the health department, because we are at the health department, if someone needs a back to school shot or a TB or something that you couldn't normally get during those hours, they'll also be able to accommodate with that as well.
All right, perfect. So we got 4 opportunities to get updated on your flu shot. Anything else to say, Dr. Chad Anderson, about the flu shots?
Not that I can think of. No, I think that's covers it all.
All right, perfect. We can always head back to it. There's no problem with that. Let's move on to our next little topic here. We're talking farmers markets a little bit over the break. There was open forums to discuss permits for farmers markets. Talk to us a little bit about this.
Yeah, so I mean, Illinois passed a law that says that like health departments need to have a specific farmers market permit, but in the law, it's laid out on how health departments are able to regulate and also like set the permit. So before I can just say or take it to my board of health, say, oh, we need a farmers market permit, we have to have input from the public, from people who actually host farmers markets regularly, attend farmers markets regularly. And I know that there's quite a few in Christian County. I think like Assumption, Taylorville, Pana have all got just regular permits, but now there's this very specific one. So before we can do that, we need input from them on what are they doing, what kind of prices would they be okay with, how many people regularly attend, is this actually needed, just so that we kind of have an idea on how to move forward. So we're having it on October 2nd at 6 o'clock at the health department. So we encourage people to come because if we don't get feedback from the community, it's kind of hard to move forward without them.
It makes sense. People are going to want to voice all of their answers to those questions you just mentioned. But what would be in this new permit, like that would be required? What's been asked?
So it's just being because at farmers markets they have produce, meat, eggs, baked goods. So it's just looking at all of those. Because I know eggs have to be separate. That's one of the things I do remember, because it's actually more regulated by Department of Agriculture, I want to say. So it's just getting input from those different people who, maybe have a farm and they want to just sell their produce or they want to sell their eggs. It's getting their input on, one, letting us know how many people are actually doing those individual things. But then also like trying to be able to discuss, are you seeing problems with this? It's just, how can we as a health department help you? But also we have to have a farmers market permit based on the new law.
Sure. So there are some smaller stipulations in there, but the open forum will really give you an idea of how many eggs are maybe being sold or how many people are coming through. So that'll be important. Can you name off the time and location one more time where people can go?
Yes. Again, it's October 2nd. It's at the health department and it'll be at 6 p.m.
Perfect. All right. So go out if you are involved in the farmers market, you're going to want to voice all of your concerns there for the new permit coming through. We're getting close to our first short break here. I would like to name off the dates of the flu shots again one more time.
Go ahead.
Awesome. So the most upcoming one, not this Thursday, but Thursday, October 12th, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. That'll be at the Christian County Health Department by appointment only. And then there are 2 opportunities that are no appointment. That'll be on October 24th at 7 a.m. to noon at the Taylorville Firehouse. That's a drive-through clinic. And then Thursday, November 2nd at the Pana Firehouse from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's also a drive-through clinic. Christian County Health Department is opening up their doors once again on October 26th from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. They're staying later that day over there at the Christian County Health Department. That'll be by appointment only to get those flu shots in. Once again, what does it mean to be offered? Just a few more flu shot clinics and very convenient places for some people.
Just like I said, people work, their normal 8 to 5 and they can't always make just over to the health department to get a flu shot. So having these opportunities, some of them are early, some of them are later, some of them are drive-through. You don't have to even get out of your car. Just trying to find different solutions and different ways to accommodate different schedules.
Yeah, it's absolutely been perfect. And a lot of people are going to thank you in the community for that, I'm sure. Sitting down with Dr. Chad Anderson right now. He is the Christian County Health Department. He's the public health administrator for the Christian County Health Department. We're going to take our first short little break here. We got some other programs and then some grants to talk about when we come back from the break. You're listening to the WTIM Morning Show.
Your information station, WTIM.
AM radio provides always-on news, sports, talk, traffic, and weather reports. And it's also a vital service that provides important emergency information when your community needs it most. Tell Congress you need AM radio to stay in your car. Because when cell phones and the internet are down, this free emergency service is critical. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress we need AM radio in cars.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
This is a station editorial. I'm Randall J. Miller, station president. Myself and many others have long lamented about the lack of self-control in government spending on both the state and federal levels, no matter what party is in power. Seems like those running Illinois' checkbook just keep taxing us to fund what they think the priorities are, but many times they aren't what Joe and Nancy Lunchbucket want. What looms in Springfield is the public pension debt, which according to the IllinoisPolicy.org website is now $4.4 billion because legislators are supposedly underfunding that pension fund on purpose. And on the federal level, politicians think they have an open-ended credit card, and as a result, the country now has a debt the legislators claim is only $32 trillion, but according to the website truthinaccounting.org, where the national debt tally shows by the second, the true U.S. debt is closer to $159 trillion. That's just short of $1 million for each U.S. taxpayer. The sad part about all this is that spending both in Illinois and in Washington is in the runaway category with no signs of ending. The U.S. government is the biggest borrower in the country. Can you imagine what the true interest rate you and I pay to borrow would be if our country didn't have to make principal and interest payments on the $159 trillion debt? This issue doesn't make the headlines because, frankly, politicians want to ignore it. Passing out money, whether it's COVID funding or pork projects, get them reelected. It's like being on an addictive drug. Once you've tasted the candy, you don't want to stop. With an election year looming next year, it's time you and I start asking the question to whoever runs for any office: what are you going to do about the out-of-control government spending, whether in Springfield or Washington? If they give you a gobbledygook answer, you know that they're either not going to answer the question or do nothing about it. And that unfunded state pension obligation and the national debt clock both continue to roll on. That's our opinion. We welcome yours. Our email address is editorial@randyradio.com.
The cold winds of winter will be here before we know it. Wind chills, snow, and weather-related injuries. Now's the time to check out Taylorville Estates Assisted Living. Click their icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Hi, this is Will Perkins with Taylorville Community Credit Union. Find out about all the products and services we provide by clicking our icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Your information station, WTIM.
Welcome back to the WTIM Morning Show. My name is Tim Zalabak. Thank you so much to our live stream sponsors for this one, People's Bank and Trust, where we put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville. You always do better with Landmark. I have Dr. Chad Anderson in my studio today with me. He's the Public Health Administrator for the Christian County Health Department. Once again, Dr. Anderson, we really thank you for taking the time being here with us today.
No problem.
So for the second half here, for the first half, we talked flu clinics. We'll re-announce those dates at the very end of this one. Some flu clinics coming to Taylorville and Pana and over there at the Christian County Health Department. And an open forum to discuss the farmers market permit, some new little stipulations in that. You're going to want to voice your thoughts over there October 2nd at 6 p.m. at the Christian County Health Department. Now, you guys got some new grants in the works here to take care of some issues all around Christian County. Talk to me a little bit about this.
Yeah, we've got a few. So, I mean, we've always had like a vector grant, but we've kind of expanded on it. So starting this year, we've had, we've had 4 like traps that are set up around Christian County. So these are just like they're tubs that have like specific kind of chemicals that attract mosquitoes, and then they get sucked up into a net, and then we test those mosquitoes to see if they're testing positive for West Nile. So then we can let people in that area know to try to use more insect repellent, then our inspectors can then also go out and use larvicide in that area to try to kill off some of those mosquitoes that have been breeding in the pools of water in that area. So it's just a more proactive response than trying to be reactive, being like, oh yeah, we got a dead bird that tested positive. We want to try to be proactive, because I think there hasn't been a human case in Christian County, but there have been numerous around the state already. So this is a program that's like, you kind of know in your area that this is happening. So we would like to expand it even more next year. So we need people who have either ponds or rivers or creeks near their properties. We didn't have any in Pana this year. We'd like to get into that area next year. So just to be able to get a better understanding of all of Christian County, not just, I think we were in Mount Auburn, Taylorville, Awanaco, and I think there's another one I'm forgetting. So just be better to have more knowledge of what's happening in Christian County to let, those populations know, oh, there was a positive pool case. So try to use insectant more, try to not be outdoors, try to tip over your water sources more, things like that.
It's really nice to know Christian County Health Department is taking a wide view at this. You guys are getting these testing sites in many different areas. They're looking for one in Pana, but those stagnant bodies of water there, they really attract mosquitoes. And yeah, I've read a couple of stories across the state popping up of West Nile. That's a scary thing to hear about, and it's really good to hear you guys are being proactive about it. You said you're kind of creating stagnant water stations about. So you said you already have one in Taylorville?
Yeah, we've got one in Taylorville, and it's been almost positive every single week. So so our inspectors just keep going out and trying to treat it with larvicide. It's just, that breeding cycle just keeps going. So we try to break up the breeding cycle, but it's just it's shocking to see how much the mosquito population in Taylorville has West Nile.
Wow, that's a little scary to hear. If it's not just Taylorville, that's kind of what comes to my mind. And I mean,
because if you look at, so we get reports from IDPH, and it's pretty much every single county throughout Illinois, except for I think some of the southern Illinois counties have had positive West Nile pools all over the state, and that's why I said there's been human cases. I think the closest one to us, there was a human case in Macon County. Okay. So that is, that was kind of like a hit home close. Macon County is just our neighbor, that it could still happen in Christian, which is why we want to be proactive and not reactive.
Well, we're doing everything we can right now, right? The only thing you can do is be proactive. And for people at home, you tip over your stagnant water, little pot holders or anything like that. It's really the only way to.
Especially it rained last night, so
there you go.
If you got anything, because it is cooling down, but they're still breeding, so.
Still breeding, and it's scary to know that, but it's good to know that people are checking in once a week at least here into these pools, and we're going to keep an eye out for West Nile virus, always staying safe, always keeping stagnant water out. So that's good. Would you move on to the next grant here with the lead program? Running close to the end here, but let's talk lead a little bit.
We've got an additional, so we've always had a lead grant that allows our inspectors to go test homes if we have a child that tests positive for lead. We have an additional one now, whereas if your child does test positive for lead, instead of us coming in and just being like, oh, here's some education, the grant now allows us to help you remove all of those lead. So if you've got lead pipes, lead paint, older toys sometimes can have lead based paint or lead in it. Some things you don't think about. We have a grant that will allow us to pay a lead abatement contractor to come in and remove it all for you without you having to pay for any of it. So I know there's a lot of older homes in Christian County, and we do see quite a few positive cases for kids who come into the health department when they get their lead cases. I don't know if it's just going back to school or just a routine thing, but it is good to know that you now have the option to where, because I know it can be expensive, $10,000-$20,000, especially if you're removing lead pipes. But now that the health department can actually help you remove it and replace it, and it won't cost anything. Just some bureaucracy.
Sure. No, I get it. And where can people go if they want to contact you for this grant?
If you just come into the health department, really, you have to have a child in the home is one of the stipulations of the grant. So anyone under 17, and then the lead contractors have to go out there and just verify that there is lead in the home.
Perfect. Dr. Anderson, thank you so much for being here. We're out of time.
That's okay.
All right. That was Dr. Anderson. He's the public health administrator for the Christian County Health Department. You've been listening to the WTIM Morning Show.
Your information station, WTIM.
Presidential Library in Simi Valley, California. 7 candidates will be on the stage. Former President Trump will not be among them, though, opting